Hey everybody, this is TJ Cates. Thanks so much for watching Nashville Real Estate TV. Today we have a very special guest.
I'm Nick Shoemaker.
And Nashville Nick is your nickname, is
That
it?
is. Yeah, everybody calls me Nashville's Nick. It's kind of a funny little quirky thing.
So let's talk about areas of Nashville. What do you think's the hot spot right now?
Man, I just had this conversation yesterday with a buyer that's moving here, and I said, you just can't go wrong anywhere that you look at in Nashville.
Yeah. I like 12 South, but I kind of see 12 South slowing down with new construction a little bit and more of the condos. What other areas? Sylvan Park was really hot. No, don't see it really being new.
East Nashville, I felt like in this last year
It's
in
slowed
that
down
area,
majorly,
yeah, it's
hasn't
kind
it?
of slowed down, and I really think that that's just kind of the trend in the market. You know, it's always since 2017, it's been such a seller's market,
And that's about over with, it seems like.
well, it's cooling off a little bit, and so I hate to say that it's necessarily a buyer's market, but I do see where values are kind of coming to.
They need to stabilize a little bit. There's only
Yes,
so much
and I
you
think
can
that's
take.
happening. I think that's happening, and I think with interest rates kind of going up a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
They're like in the mid fives as of today.
Yes.
Okay.
Forecasted to be about 5.5 end of year.
Okay.
So you're
That's not
still
that bad.
No.
I remember the 9 and 10% interest rates years ago.
Yeah. When people say something, I said, "Well, your parents and grandparents didn't have."
10% non-assumable
Yes,
mortgages, a 2-1 buy down.
Absolutely.
Well,
Still always good.
Now the Nations, I know there's a lot of activity in the Nations, and it was really big, and then it slowed down, and then now it seems like it's really getting big again. I know personally some developers that are in there doing some really remarkable stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Well, like I said, any place in that part of Nashville, because it's in Nashville.
Yeah.
You're just not going to go wrong if you
What
invest
part
in
of town
that
do you
area.
live in?
I'm in Hendersonville, which is
Oh.
north of Nashville. Yeah. I'm in
Hendersonville's
that
nice.
best kept secret still. I say that, but
A lot of people like Hendersonville. I drove through there
love
last
it.
week.
Yes, and it's a great community. It's a lake community, so it's a little bit of a slower lifestyle. Although we have all the amenities, we're just 20 minutes, north of Nashville. It's a really great community.
If you're driving at 2 in the morning, then you've only got a 20-minute drive. Nashville traffic drives me crazy. We
well,
live
it's
right.
an hour to get to Nashville from Nashville, so just so you know.
That's true. I mean, we live 440 and 21st right by Hillsborough Village.
Oh yeah,
And
so
yeah,
you're in traffic.
I can be here at the studio in 10 minutes, or I can be here in the studio in 30 minutes, but you have to learn the back roads.
Yes.
Well, let's say Franklin. It's always
Always
a good area.
Always good. Brentwood's always good.
Certain areas of Brentwood.
Yeah.
Nippers Corner. What's going on?
Nippers Corner is amazing.
And it's fairly affordable for
It
Brentwood.
is still fairly affordable. Yes. Yeah. That's kind of one of those areas that everybody wants to be in. Creve Hall, that area. It's a great
Some areas of
neighborhood.
Creve Hall are really good.
Yeah. Yeah, and there for a little
Nice
while.
ranch houses.
Yes, there for a little while, that was kind of the hub. Everybody was going in, and investors were kind of really attracted to that because most people step up, step down. They're looking for that one-level ranch.
Yeah, I love
room
them.
to grow. You can gut them. You can make them beautiful.
Built on the back.
Yes, basement.
Yeah, I love a basement. I love a ranch house.
I do
think
too.
that's great. And I love covered parking and garages.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of that.
It's not overrated.
Well, let's talk about a trend that I see that maybe you don't, but I always go visit open houses. If you ever want to invite me to come to your open house on Wednesdays, I always like to come. Make sure that you get them catered because that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
We get
We'll
them.
have the margarita
I've
truck out
been
there.
to them before. I've been to Margaritas before.
Yes.
We've had Chewy's. We've had
Yeah.
Hattie B's.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of really good people.
Yeah.
That,
You
I
gotta
do look
bring
at
the traffic
menu.
out. Yeah.
One lady started giving away alcohol or something, and she said, "Well, I quit giving away because I got tired of throwing away food." It's like, I'll bring the food. We'll drop it off at the fire station or something.
We always try to do music, and sometimes we'll have an artist come in and play, and
It's
we'll have some
Nashville. It's a
wine.
great
Yeah,
idea.
you've got to do that. Yeah, they expect it. And the sellers expect it too.
They
They don't
expect-
want you just to stick a sign in the yard and hope everybody shows up. They kind of want some fanfare.
You have to,
Yeah.
you have to get people. But what I've noticed in Green Hills is with the new construction, it seems like there's some really good bargains for established homes with lots of square footage, a really nice yard,
Yep.
around the million two mark.
Yep.
And I've seen those, and they're like dropping the price $100,000.
Yeah, because a lot of those homes in that area, and that's what we like to call old money.
I
The
love
real
Green Hills
established
and
money. Yes.
Bellmead.
And, a lot of those homes, those families have lived in them for a really long time, and the upgrades just aren't there necessarily, what we consider to be upgraded. So, they're making room for getting those kitchens and those bathrooms
Kitchens
more
and
modern.
bathrooms. And there's a square footage there, but then the closets weren't so popular
Correct.
in the 50s.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, people had Sunday clothes, and they had their going out to eat clothes, and they had,
I have one suit,
Sunday,
that's it.
yeah, but that was it. You know, there wasn't all the 50,000 pairs of shoes now that we are fighting with. In
I
our
have more
closets.
shoes than Jill does at our house, and we make a joke about it. I actually had to build shelves in our guest room for my shoes.
Yeah, you know this whole thing now on Netflix where everybody's doing the tidy up thing where you get rid of all your shoes except
I'm
for
not gonna
5
do
pairs.
that.
Yeah, right.
Can't do that.
Right.
I've already worn 3 pairs of shoes today.
Yeah, exactly.
And the day started
Exactly.
at 6 o'clock. Well, let's talk about, like you're talking about it not being a seller's market as much anymore. We're not bidding 4 or 5 offers on opening day going over the sales price.
Depending on that purchase
It's a little
price,
bit
yep.
of a buyer's market.
I think so. And I think what sellers are going to have to realize is that they're going to have to start focusing on their value, like their market value, and really getting that
Their
price
market
right.
value. Bring that title back.
Yes, and they're not going to have buyers, 10, 15 buyers fighting over their homes this next year. So it's going to be kind of a reality check, but it's going to be a good place for buyers to be. And I will say that I think spring into summer is going to be really super hot.
Okay.
And I think buyers are going to maybe have the upper hand this year. I'm hoping.
Prediction.
Yeah.
From Nashville Nick.
Yeah.
Hashtag Nashville
Yeah.
Nick.
In
NIK.
fact, I just put a house under contract and we came in under ask price, which was unheard of, a year ago. We got the seller to pay some closing costs and the
Wow.
buyer's sitting pretty.
That's
yeah.
kind of the way it should be.
I think everybody,
Especially
I think it needs to
out-of-town
be
buyers
fair.
expect that.
I think there just needs to be a fairness level.
We've dealt with some out-of-town buyers before, and I've heard of them, and they come in and they want to offer, 5% under, 3% under. And it's
Because
like,
that's what they're used to
that's
in their
what they're
markets.
used to, and
Yes.
they get offended and they'll walk away. I'm like,
Right.
well, you can walk away, but you go down the street, nobody's going to give a house away.
Yeah, and I've had to, sometimes education with a buyer is imperative, and sometimes they have to miss 1 or 2 houses to see.
It's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
I get
Because
it.
we can tell them all day long, but that some people seeing is believing. So
Seeing is believing.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think about these cube houses and affordable houses that they're building right now? I think that's good to some extent that they're making those, because as a home builder and developer, I've always understood that when you take somebody's land, they're going to move. Where are they going to go? And I've talked to a couple of city councilmen here in town and met with them and one of our state representatives, and affordable housing is really important. So that's there's a lot of undeveloped land in
Yes.
northeast, northwest Nashville.
yeah, and Nashville is not known for affordable housing.
But there's
you know.
suburbs.
There's some. And so I've always told people, you kind of have to go on the outskirts of Nashville to find, more land, more house for your money. People come in and they see 900 square foot for 250,000 and they about lose their mind, and I get it. But yes, I am on the side of everybody has got to have a place to live.
You live somewhere.
That's right, and
Even though the FHA loan limits are up
yes.
from where they were, that doesn't mean
Yeah.
everybody can afford that. So,
Absolutely.
But in a place like Nashville, jobs are a little bit easier to grab and good paying
Industry
jobs.
is good.
So I've talked to some bankers and they're talking about loans. What do you do conventional 5% down?
It just
on your
depends.
people?
I always try to kind of go in with the idea that the client has an idea of what they want to spend per month, whether they had already been renting or whatever their situation was. So fitting them with the right program is super important.
Yeah.
It's
It's important to getting qualified first.
at 100%.
It's not an insult.
At 100%. And the reason why, too, on the other side of that, a seller, just think of this on a seller's perspective. If they are selling their home, they're going to want to make sure that if somebody's coming into their home, that they're ready and able. And the only way you're
Before you
going to
take
know.
it off the market for 30 days.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, we recently had
And
an issue
vet
like
those
that.
lenders. If you're a buyer's agent, you need to be calling, and making sure that these buyers are as good as they say.
We have so many topics. You're definitely going to have to come back.
Absolutely.
But one thing that you deal with all these different people, and they want to do an online mortgage of some 1-800 mortgage company, and I think it's better to work with who your
gotta have a
realtor
relationship.
is
Yeah.
working with, or a local, not even a local bank, but a local mortgage company
Yeah.
where you can actually go in and take your documents and sit down with them and maybe you didn't qualify for this loan, but explain this loan, because a lot of times you're dealing with people with just a headset and they're reading off.
Well,
what
sure,
you do.
and you've got to lay hands on it, I feel like.
And there's hidden fees. There's
Yes.
junk fees, there's
There's all
courier
kinds of
fees,
stuff.
there's points,
There's
there's discount
surprises.
points. And just
Yeah.
because you're checking the interest rate, well, I get my interest rate at 4.25 with this bank. Well, yeah, but did you look at how much it's going to cost you getting that loan? Did you look at the spread?
Right. Did you look at the back
360 years?
end? That's
Exactly. Nobody looks 30 years down the road.
Yeah, and again, that's about getting with the right real estate agents too. You know,
It is.
that has their lenders and their inspectors and all of those people in their pocket that they've worked with and have had great results with.
I've had
you
the
know?
same home inspector that I've worked with for the past 3 years. in
Me
Nashville.
too.
And it really means something because
Yes.
if you ever need them to go back out and re-inspect it,
That's
or
right.
if you kind of see something as a realtor, we're not experts, but if you see something at a house, you can say, hey, be sure and open the closet door and look to the left because I noticed this when I was taking pictures, and they in a good relationship with that.
Yeah.
We get so much, I guess, these millennials, everything is on their
I
phone.
love you, millennials.
Yeah, we
by
all
the
love
way.
them, but
they're going to be 46% of the industry
everything
this
is
year.
not on their phone. You've got to get a
Right.
personal relationship
You do.
with somebody.
Yes, I agree.
And you got to
You
make
do.
sure that you can work with somebody. And I see these younger people that are out there buying homes, and they will go. It's hard to get a relationship as a realtor with somebody and get where they're not going to each house and calling that realtor directly. They're not going to save.
Yes.
They're not going to save the seller any money.
Right.
So it's
I
better to
think
get to be a
that's-
buyer's agent.
That's also imperative to do, you know, that buyer consult. And I preach this all the time. If I'm going to work with you and you're my buyer, we're going to sit in front of each other and we're going to talk it out. I'm going to tell you how the process goes. You know, you're going to know why it's important to call your realtor and not the listing agent. And that's, you know, that's
Well, even-
again part of having a good realtor.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
So let's see if we touched on everything we touched on. There's a lot of topics. We talked about hot areas, so y'all be sure and stay tuned to Nashville
Every
Real Estate
place in
TV.
Nashville is hot, BTW.
It depends on what you want.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
just
true.
anywhere you decide to live.
Yeah.
And getting a working relationship with a realtor like yourself is very important. A good working relationship with the local mortgage company, I think, is truthfully important. And just take your time. And Zillow and those sites are really good, but not every house you look at is always available. So you want to get with the realtor. Let us
Get
go
with
check
your
in the
realtor.
MLS.
Yes.
And we can email you right away.
Yeah.
Lots
Yeah.
of things to know.
Lots of things to know.
All right, y'all.
In the know.
We're gonna have Nashville Nick back on Nashville Real Estate TV. Y'all be sure and tune to us every week on television. We'll put the links up there and also on social media. And if there's any areas that we haven't covered, be sure and let us know. And we'll come out and cover them. If you want to be part of the show, reach out to me at TJ Cates, and I'll be glad to help you come in and be a guest on the show as long as you're related to the real estate field. But Nick is a wonderful real estate agent. I noticed her
Thank
a
you.
few weeks ago. We've been talking and we've been Facebook friends. I don't even know how
Long
that
time.
happened. But I was really picking up on her work ethic, which I respect work
Thank
ethic in
you.
Nashville. Because not everybody has it in the music industry, entertainment, everything. But she has it. You're going to see her in groups, and you're going to see her on her page, and she's doing informative live videos, which I
Yeah.
love that you do.
We do. We've just decided to take on the world with Facebook Live.
For more information, for more information, tell them where they can contact you.
So you can hit me up at Nashville's Nick. That's Nashville's plural, NIK@gmail.com. My website is www.sellingnashvegas.com, and I'm with Parks Real Estate.
That's very exciting. So for more information on what she does, be sure and connect with her. And thank you so much for watching Nashville Real Estate TV. Hey everybody, this is TJ Cates again with Nashville Real Estate TV. I'm here with,
I'm Aaron Shore with Tennessee Home Inspectors.
and we're going to have you back because today we're going to talk about new construction and why it's important to get a home inspector on a brand new home.
Thanks, TJ. I think it's super important to get an inspection on new construction. We see frequently a lot of times that subs come in and they do a great job at their job. They do great work at their job, but then somebody else will come through and kind of unwind what they did. Say they want to make room for the plumbing and they might alter a floor joist, and somehow communication gets lost. Probably the framing inspector's already been through when he's looked at the framing. He's not coming back to look at that again. So you want to have a home inspector who's willing to crawl under the house and see what's
And that's
going
you.
on.
You crawl under homes and when there's no room to crawl under a home.
Crawl under a lot of
You're going to
homes.
follow him on those social media pages.
So some interesting things I've seen, master shower drains that were never connected. Never even thought about being connected. I've seen that 4 or 5 times. So that's basically you have shower water dumping into the crawl space. That
Yeah,
could
because
be
those shower pans
problematic.
can only hold so much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've seen spots where HVAC, how the package unit has the ductwork goes through the foundation, where they've knocked out big areas of foundation, and the main girder that was supporting the whole floor is now unsupported along the edge of the wall. So I mean, things that they can be
And
fixed.
that's all brand new homes.
Absolutely,
construction.
and they can be fixed, TJ. But if they go unnoticed for a couple years, then they become real problems. Like right now, it's not a problem. If we catch it early and we address it, and the builders, they're certainly willing to address it. They don't have any issue.
Well, of course
with
they
it.
will.
Yeah. So they're
Yeah.
great. They offer 1-year builder warranty.
Yeah.
And they're always good on those things. So just bringing it to their attention.
It's not an insult, it's just a suggestion. And what happens when either I or another real estate agent sells a home, we call for home inspection, and you can obviously choose any home inspector. I always call Aaron every single time because I know he's the most thorough person that I know. And what he's going to do is he's going to inspect it, give us a very detailed list, and we just take that to the seller. And sometimes they're not willing to pay for it, but it's something the buyer, if it's more cosmetic than structural. But for the most part, it's a really good way to get the home to be safe enough for you and your family.
And a home inspection is good because it's a third party. We're not trying to sell people anything. We're just there to take a
You
look.
don't work on a
advocate
percentage of how
for 'em.
much it's going to cost.
Never. It's a fixed fee.
Yeah.
It's agreed to up front. And
Yeah.
we have such a big team and we cover such a big area.
How many people do you have right now working in Middle Tennessee?
There's 5 inspectors that work under me. So we go to Pulaski and we go to Clarksville and everywhere in between.
And this show is going to 17 Middle Tennessee counties. I hope you get to maybe get some more people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now let's talk about you had a record year last year. Was it this year or this month? Last time I saw you.
Every month's a
It gets
record
bigger
month
and
right
bigger.
now. Yeah.
Well, I think it's because of the way that you operate. Let's talk about another topic. What else can we talk about?
We talk about radon if you want.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, so radon kind of comes and goes as the media follows it. It's a colorless, odorless gas, and it's carcinogenic. So it's a byproduct, I think, of uranium, something that we find in our soils and the rocks here. As it decays, it can build up in a house in dangerous levels.
How are you testing for that?
We use a continuous radon monitor. So it's a 48-hour test where we sample the air hourly and then come up with a graph that kind of aggregates that data.
How do you take care of that if you sell the home?
It's pretty easy to fix.
Okay.
It can be more complicated based on the foundation type and the way the home's built, but there's companies who specialize in radon mitigation. They're typically licensed with the EPA, and they set up a system basically to vent the subterranean gases outside the house so it never has a chance to get into your living space.
Yeah, there's so many things to know about when you call for a home inspector. It's not just checking the light switches and a leaky faucet. There's so many things that they could do. And Aaron, tell them the name of your company again.
Tennessee Home Inspectors, and you can find us at getaninspector.com.
It's really easy to work with them, and getting a home inspector is such a big, important part of buying a home and being in there, because you're getting a 30-year mortgage, you may as well get a 30-year house. It's going to last with it.
That's right.
All right, well, thanks for coming in, Aaron.
Thank you, TJ.
Yeah, this has been TJ Cates with Nashville Real Estate TV. Hey everybody, this is TJ Cates with Nashville Real Estate TV, Nashville Entertainment Weekly. Look at this guy, man. Have you ever seen this guy? You're the cleanest builder in the world, by the way.
Well, that's probably because, as most people know who watch the show, I'm not doing much building. I'm doing a lot of talking, but I work with builders.
Tell us who we're talking to.
We're talking to Kevin O'Connor from This Old House, and This Old House actually too, but This Old House.
So, let's talk about, I got some questions for you.
Yeah.
When did you get your first hammer? We just talked about Evel Knievel. So we go back a little bit.
That's funny. I had a lot of hammers before I was ever given a hammer because my dad was in building and I had older brothers, so they were all over the place. They were just there.
Okay, so that's where you picked it up. You kind of knew you liked it.
I knew I liked it. As a little kid, I definitely knew I liked it. Like building go-karts, building tree forts, we did all that kind of stuff. And I can remember having the fight with my buddy. It was like block party day, and we're building a go-kart, and he's like, we're done, it's time to party. Yeah. Like, go get a hamburger. And I was like, we're not done. We're building this thing. And
you wanted to make it right.
Me and Paul Tompkins split up that day, and I was like, we're not done until this go-kart's done. I just kept building. I like building.
Yeah, I do too. And I like an idea in your head, and if you take your time and you get your saws in your head, sometimes you get to take measure out, sometimes you get level, sometimes you don't. But I kind of like that idea of it, man. I like building. I know when I was a kid, we built a lot of ramps.
Yeah.
And I think they sell ramps made out of plastic now. It's like, come on, man, build a ramp.
You don't have to build much anymore. I did a tree house for my kids, and I was like, we're going to do it. They wanted it, but I
would like to see the tree house you built.
That was pretty cool.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, it's got 100-year-old single pane casement windows with brass hardware because one of the houses we were working on was throwing them out. Yeah. And I was like, that kind of look garbage, but then you put them on a treehouse, it looked really good. So, but I said, it's like, if we're going to build a treehouse, you guys are going to have to build it with me. Like, you're going to have to get out there and build it. I'm not going to just give you a treehouse. That's not the point.
That's not the point. Yeah, we used to get hammers and ropes and boards that nobody wanted. We made tree houses. They didn't always stay up, but it's okay, man. It's part of living, and it's part of something. And we're hoping that's something they're going to start bringing in school, kind of introducing. Yeah. You know.
If you. At the very least, it'll like occupy your time, keep you outside, and these days keep you off Fortnite.
Hammers don't take batteries.
They don't take batteries, and
they don't work off Wi-Fi.
They're not they're not connected to the internet. Absolutely. Yeah.
But like I was redoing my shower, the bathroom from our 1938 house this week, and I bought a kit that goes over the existing stuff because I wanted to get done quickly. I go to YouTube. Do you ever go to YouTube ever to see if there's somebody that did something that you're about to do?
A bunch of good stuff. It's unbelievable. You could find all of that. And back in the day when I was doing it, learning how to do it, I don't do it professionally, it was magazines, right? You'd flip through the magazines. Like, now you go to YouTube. That's good. That works.
It is. It's cool. All right, let's talk about why we're here at the Nashville Home Show.
So we've got a couple presents.
Happy 40th anniversary, though.
Thank you very much. I don't get credit for that because I've only been doing it for 15 years, but the boys...
15's a long time in TV land.
It is, but it makes me the new guy by 25. But I'll tell the boys back home you said happy anniversary. I will. We're celebrating 40 years with 2 new projects on PBS. They premiere in a week or so. I'm going to be giving a sneak peek about the projects. One of them is Net Zero for an old 100-year-old bungalow, which is hard to do. Yeah. So it's super efficient alternative energy. And the other one's mid-century modern, 1957. So that kind of quirky, low-sloping roof, sort of a ranch, boxy. We're going to be playing with one of those and doubling its size, but keeping it in the mid-century modern look.
Let's talk about bringing the mid-century modern is like really popular now. I went to our lake house when we sold it in Arkansas and grabbed all the furniture, and now in Nashville everybody's like, "Where did you get that dresser? That's crazy!" And I pulled in Sears in the 1960s, so that's really a popular thing.
It's super hot.
It just became cool.
It was bound to happen.
It's like we had used furniture from Arkansas, and now we're like really modern.
What do they say? Even a broken clock's right twice a day. Eventually,
twice a day.
Cool too.
I'm cool every half year, every half decade, 100 years. What is that?
I'm thinking you're cooler than you let on.
Well, street tuxedo. Thank you very much, man. Well, I wanted to wear flannel, and I asked my street tuxedo people. I said, "Do y'all happen to have anything flannel so I can wear it for them?"
Yeah, I got all the flannel. I cornered the market when I came to town.
Like I said, go to East Nashville, grow a beard, and you can be a musician.
Lady shoes.
All right, let's talk about the most common mistakes that you see people do when they do DIY things. What's the first thing to do?
I just heard one. I just heard one. I heard you say I did it. What'd you do with the tile?
We took down the tile and put up a wall.
But you did what? Because you wanted to get it done?
I went and researched it.
No, you did.
Oh man, I hope I didn't do anything wrong.
You just said you did it. You covered over it or something. Like you want to do it quickly.
Yeah. Well.
Number one problem right there.
Yeah.
People want to do it quickly.
I say quickly, and it was 2 days.
Well, but I mean, why'd you go over it as opposed to take it out?
Well, okay, this is a really good topic that you brought up because one day somebody was in the bathtub, it was me, don't picture it, and all of a sudden these tiles start coming off the wall, and then we have the little sideways wood up under there, and then we may or may not have asbestos, so I really don't want to start tearing into that again with the baby here in 3 months.
Oh, you blame it on the baby?
No, I'm trying to be cautious for the baby. Well, it's called being a responsible parent.
I'm not going to beat up on you in that, but it is a segue to the answer, which is way too many people try to rush it and cut corners, and they don't do it well. And I don't know what your situation is over there, but
we want to do a total remodel down to the studs and rewire, replumb.
Yeah.
And that's next summer.
But so going over, it's probably going to cause trouble. It's going to at least shorten the lifespan. So that's the answer to the question. I think that's the number one mistake people make. And I get it. I've rushed through things myself. I'm guilty of it.
Give me an example.
Oh, man. All right,
You don't have to answer my question.
I know. I want to answer the question. I'm trying to think of something here. I
What
don't know.
about auto mechanics? Do you work on cars?
No, not until just recently. I bought an old car,
What'd you buy?
a Chevy Blazer,
What year?
72.
Nice.
Top comes off.
Oh, yes, it does.
Yeah,
Two-door.
awesome two-door. Bought it for the beach, and I got 3 kids and a dog, so it's one of the few ones that could fit 3 in the back on the bench.
Big bench seat in the back.
Yeah, it's awesome. But the second or third night I had it, my buddy down the street runs a shop, and he was bummed that the carburetor wasn't kicking in like he said. So after a couple beers, he said, well, we got to call Guy and get this carburetor tuned up. I'm like, dude, it's like midnight. We don't need to do this
That's
now.
when the good work starts. Couple beers and it's midnight. Everybody go to bed.
The point of the story is, Guy's on the phone, we popped the hood, and he's like, do this and do that. It was the first time in 30 years that I looked under the hood of a car and knew what I was looking at, and I was able to adjust the oxygen and the gas intake. But I was like, man, that was satisfying.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah.
And I haven't changed my own oil in 20 years.
Nobody does. It got expensive. We bought a brand new Jeep and it was like $70, so we'll get it free. Well, I rebuilt a '73 Scout from the ground up, and it
very
was kind of
nice.
cool. Yeah,
is
so
kinda cool. You
so I
still
like
have
doing
it?
it. No, I sold it. I don't keep anything.
You get one, sell it to me. I'm looking for the Blazer is nice, but I want a GMC Jimmy, same year, 72, with the top off.
You'll find it.
I'm looking. They go fast. They're hot right now.
Yeah, they'll find it, but you're popular, man. Somebody will give it to you. Talk to Jay Leno. Let's talk about houses. Okay, so in Nashville, what's the biggest struggle that you see that somebody may have from a 1920s or 30s house if they don't have a big budget and they want to do something? Foundation. A lot
So,
of foundation problems in Nashville.
yep, without speaking to Nashville specifically, adding living space is a great way to go, but if you can do it outdoors, I think that's kind of way up on the list. So when you make that outdoor patio, that outdoor kitchen feel, because it's low dollar, big impact. Energy efficiency is definitely something that people are thinking about, so making the houses more comfortable, go on ahead and do that. Smart homes is pretty comfortable as well. People want to be able to control them sort of remotely. But for us, the thing that's still driving real estate and value is renovating kitchens and bathrooms.